So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below, so check those out for massive discounts on all your Hidden Summoner needs as well as all your other Yu-Gi-Oh needs. But let's get on with the profile. What's up YouTube, Dave and Zephyr Wargames, bringing you my 60 card Zombiesworn deck profile that I did the test hands for yesterday. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through this deck profile, show you exactly what we've got. It is a 60 card deck, so it can drag on, so I'm going to try and be as quick as I can. If you do have any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. So, without further ado, I'm going to zoom out, and we're going to get started. So of course, for the zombie lineup, we play the standard triple Mizuki, quite self-explanatory on that one, triple Solitaire, double Uni-Zombie, double Necro World Banshee, double Border Roach, incredibly powerful zombie card, like probably one of the best zombie cards around, not including Mizuki of course. And then we played the one Vampire Froilin, the one Shiranui Spirit Master, the one Gozuki, and the one Glow Up Bloom. Now, the reason Bloom's at 1 is because I'm not really using and abusing like Link Rebo in the edge deck or anything like that. So this is just a nice little searcher. Get it off of Summon Sorceress, get rid of it, bring out your Border Roach. Very, very straightforward on that one. And then 9 times out of 10, you're going to be milling your other Border Roach in. I was thinking about putting Banshee to 3, but then I kind of thought, like, once you've either got the Banshee or the Terraforming, you've kind of done your job there. Banshee can be at 3 if you want it to be a little bit more consistent, but again, Banshee is another one that you can bring out of from Summon Sorceress, and then of course send it to the graveyard and get the effect off, so it is quite searchable. Okay, so now on to the Lightsworn engine. So we've got double Raiden, quite straightforward on that one, double Lumina, and triple Wolf. Now, it is quite a small Lightsworn engine, purely because you could, if you wanted to, take out the Froilin and put in the main deck Minerva for that additional mill, should you want to. But because we're not using and abusing JD in this deck, and the reason we're not using and abusing JD in this deck is because the zombie element of this deck is a bit more dominant to the actual Lightsworns themselves. And you have so many different boss monsters to choose from that I actually chose a different boss monster over JD, which I'll show you once we get there. Then, of course, for the plant engine, you've got triple Lone Fire, triple Scorpio. You could drop Scorpio down to 2 if you want to, and the one Cobra. And obviously in a 60 card deck, the idea is to bury Cobra and Garnet as best as you possibly can. And then, of course, go into the rest of your cards to deck thin, and then get into the Brilliant Fusion engine. Now, someone did ask me the other day on my Lightsworn deck profile, which is quite similar to this, is if you draw into the Garnet, how does it work? And it doesn't end the game, especially with the zombies in this deck. More so, it doesn't end the game. It still gives you a lot to play. You could put them back into your deck with Saruja. That, of course, then means that your Brilliant Fusion is then live again. But it's not the end of the world. You've got so much floatability, so much kind of Grave Revival in the deck that you don't need to worry if you do open it up. That is not a linear play. It is the best play in the deck, but it's not the only way you can play the deck. Then we've got triple Snow, and then double of the boss monster, and that is BLS. Purely because I thought that Leavenir Dragon banished too much, and I don't want to banish too much, especially when I want to maintain my resources for Snow because it is incredibly powerful. Orbital Highlander, yes, you can abuse your graveyard with Snow, but I wanted to have a guarantee, and I felt with BLS it was the more guaranteed element of the deck, especially when you've got all of your Perform Mage clowns and jugglers and stuff like that as light targets, zombies as your dark targets, and you've got obviously extra deck monsters as your dark targets as well. There's a lot more consistency in BLS in my opinion than the rest. We've got double Goblinberg to help you extend your board straight away. So should you have a bad board, being able to go Goblinberg into either Shiranui, Solitaire or Raiden gives you additional mills, can extend your board even further and can really, really help you. And then you've got one of each of the clowns. You've got the one Hat Tricker, the one Trick Clown, and the one Damage Juggler. Again, very, very important to extend your board, along with the Giant Rex to play off of Fairy Tale Snow or Gold Sark. And then, of course, the one Garnet. You know, you have to play this card for your Brilliant Fusion plays, and the Brilliant Fusion play, as you saw in the test stand videos, is so important in this deck. Onto the spells, Triple Charger Light Brigade, giving in them mills is so good. Such a good card to have at 3 in this deck. Triple Gold Sark, so Rex gives you, oh, there we go. Rex gives you the instant rank 4 plays or link 2 plays if you want it. Especially if you've got Zombie World in play, that gives you an instant Vampire Sucker. It can get you out of floodgates if you hit your Spirit Master, and then of course if you want to use it again, it searches you out a piece of the puzzle that you can either bring back with Omega or of course push plays further forward with later on. Triple Brilliant Fusion, triple Zombie World, 1 Terraforming for that Zombie World. You could play 2 if you want, but I feel that Banshee is more useful, especially being a dark in the graveyard, than a Terraforming, so I'd rather bump up the Banshees over the Terraformers should I want to in the future. The 1 Rhoda, search you out that Raiden. Soul Charge, you know, less relevant in a 60 card deck, but it can also be as relevant in a 60 card deck because it can win you games, remain your board state, and kind of basically say to your opponent, break my board, if you can't, I'm going to win. The 1 Monster Reborn, of course, bring back anything you need, especially, you can't really complain when you've got 4 Monster Reborns if you include Mizuki in your deck as well. 1 Desires, 60 card deck, so it Desires to deck fin as well once you've got all of your main pieces out, and they give you that additional 2 cards is always going to be very, very powerful. And the 1 Foolish Burial, send your extenders, your snows, your banshees, like you've got so many targets that if Foolish Burial was to ever come back to more than 1, it would be abused to heck no in this deck. Now onto the extra deck, so we'll go through the XYZs first. Now, as you saw, I don't play Call by the Grave in this deck, because it is actually really, really easy to get into Nyala and then Azathoth, that if you're worried about your opponent having a hand trap, you go straight into your Nyala and then Azathoth, and then that shuts your opponent down straight away. And then because you've got so much mill and extension on your deck, you can make this without using the Brilliant Fusion engine or even using the Brilliant Fusion engine, and that straight away stops your opponent from like hand trapping you. So for example, if you were to go Goblinberg into Raiden, or if you went to Raiden, mill 2, get a Wolf, or Raiden, Foolish, or any level 4 and a Foolish, or Gold Sarks, you've got so many options to make this. You make this straight away, and you still have extensions in your hand as well, so you'll always have that additional monster, so you can make this, and then push your plays further off. If you've got Zombie World, you go into Vampire Sucker, and it just keeps going and going and going. The 1 Minerva, the draw effect is less relevant, it's more the free mill effect. It's kind of like the Dante for the deck as well. Fusions, of course, we've got the 1 Gem Knight Seraphonite, and then for the synchros, we've got the 1 Cypher Lord Omega. If it was higher on the ban list, like 3 or 2, then we'd be playing it at 3 or 2. Scarlet Red Dragon Archery wins you games. In time, you still have plays. That's the worst thing you want in a deck, is to be able to, if someone calls time and you can't finish the game or you can't burn a game, Scarlight gives you that ability to win the game going first and win the game going second in time. And he's a 3k beater, which is very, very powerful and very, very nice. Now on to, of course, the Link monsters. We start off with double Vampire Sucker and the 1 Wee Witch Apprentice. Now, Wee Witch is very, very important in the deck because Vampire Sucker is your go-to if you've got Zombie World on board, because then you don't really care. But if you don't have Zombie World on board and you play the Predaplant engine, going into Wee Witch gives you an instant Summon Sorceress, which then lets you extend your board even further. Because example is if you go Cobra and Scorpio, you go into Wee Witch, and I'm pretty sure you saw it in the test hand videos as well. If you've got Zombie World, you go into Sucker. If you don't have Zombie World, you go into Wee Witch. That, of course, then you play the Brilliant Fusion. That get you another Spellcaster to the graveyard or to the board. You link the Spellcasters together, give you into your Summon Sorceress, and then you've got plays to push further forward from there. So for our last Link 2, we've got the 1 Nightmare Phoenix. And then for our Link 3s, well, our other Link 3s I'll go through is, we've got Summon Sorceress, and then you've got an option here. So this is your option. You either go Unicorn, or, now this is not a 16 card extra deck, just keep that in mind. I just want to make sure this is clear as crystal, that you don't have a 16 card extra deck. It's either Nightmare Unicorn or Topological Gumbler Dragon. Now, Gumbler's very good because you can use Snow to rip from your opponent's hand, but you need to make sure you've got hand cards to get rid of. There's a lot of cards in your deck that you don't want in your hand, and if you do have them in your hand, it's very, very nice and easy to get rid of, either under Gumbler or under Unicorn. So Gumbler, in my opinion, is more of a first turn card because you can make it very, very easily. For example, once you've done your Summon Sorceress play, you could then use Summon Sorceress play, Summon Sorceress and whatever you bring out of Summon Source to go into Gumbler, because it only requires 2 effect monsters. That, if it's a Glark Bloom, will trigger and give you a Border Roach, Summon Border Roach, if you've got Zombie World in play, of course, to the Gumbler zone. That then lets you drop 1 or 2 and then drop 1 or 2 from your opponent's hand. Then if you make a Vampire Sucker on board, what you can do is during the standby phase, when your Border Roach comes back, you'll draw off of Vampire Sucker and then you chain or Gumbler is mandatory, so Gumbler will then go off. You would ditch the one you've just drawn and you'd rip another one from your opponent's hand. Now, of course, if you've maintained more hand advantage, Gumbler can do a lot more. Unicorn is better going second because, of course, you get that discard and spin one card back, and that can push you into the OTK. For the other link fours, of course, we've got the one Borolo Dragon wins you games, Borosword Dragon wins you games, and Saruja to either, like I said, put back the Brick of the Garnet, or, of course, reset your hand and then get an additional special summon to extend your board even further, and can really, really help you in the game. So, like I said, either Unicorn or, of course, Gumbler Dragon. If you do put Gumbler Dragon in, it does mean you've got 4 link 4s in your deck, which some might seem as being not so much excessive, but some see it as being a little bit over. I personally don't like the idea of having 4 link 4s in a deck. I think that's too much. But in a deck such as this, where it can use and abuse the board state and really, really ramp up the amount of monsters that it either brings back from the grave through the zombie engine or mills and summons through the Lightsworn engine, is very, very powerful. Especially with Snow as well, where you can just loop Snow. As long as you've got the cards in the graveyard, you just loop Snow over and over and over and over again until you've built the board that you really, really want. Again, like I showed you in the test hand video. Anyway, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this has given you a couple of ideas. If you do have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Like I said, there's different variants with this deck. You can go more Lightsworn focused and then put your JDs in instead of your BLSs. You can go with Orbital Highlander as your boss monster. Anything that kind of helps mill your deck and then abuse the board state, and with all the extensions available, can really, really stump your opponent and give you powerful plays going both first and second. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling. Also, YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.